What's going on, Warrior?
One other. What's going on? You ready?
Yes, sir. Hey, before we get into this, bro, let me start out by saying it's an honor and a pleasure to have you on, bro. I've kind of put your story out there a little bit, so it's previewed. The thing I just want to say real quick is that when I initially heard your story, I had intentions on telling the story myself, but after listening to you, bro, I think it'll resonate a lot more with the viewers if they hear it, coming directly from you, bro. It's a powerful story. You've obviously been through a lot, bro. So I just want to say, man, it's an honor and a pleasure to have you on here, bro. And hey, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you, homie. I appreciate that. All right. So I'm gonna start off by introducing myself. My name is McCafferty, also known as Warrior. So I got my name Warrior from my neighborhood back when I was 16, 17 years old, and after just certain holidays and certain missions and putting in work, my primo Sinner gave me that name, Sinner from the softball, and I've been running with it ever since, and I've been living by it ever since. So, growing up, we have our family house right there in the heart of our barrio, right there in the heart of the hood, right across the tracks in Banning, on the southeast side of Banning, and that whole neighborhood is known as the softball. And growing up, my dad kicking it with the hood, being a part of the hood, and having family from the hood, both from my dad and my mom's side. The family parties consisted of basically a hood party. Growing up as a kid, whether it's no matter whose birthday party, aunts, uncles, or cousins, the whole hood is there. But in all reality, it's just all my cousins, uncles, primas, tias that are all from the hood. And I grew up glorifying this by seeing all my uncles banged out, all my cousins banged out, in and out of prison, in and out of juvenile hall, seeing the tattoos, seeing neighborhood tattoos, seeing political tattoos. And ever since I was a youngster, this is what I wanted to do. This is who I wanted to be. I am basically born into the hood. And that's what one of my uncles had told me growing up when I was 13, kicking it with the hood, and I was very persistent on just banging the hood. And he told me, look, check this out. You don't got to get jumped in the hood. None of our family got jumped in the hood. We're born into the hood. If you're going to bang the hood, bang it. Go full blast. And your family is the hood. So that's what I grew up glorifying. That's what I wanted. And I just went full blast with it.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
My parents did what they could to try to keep me away from the hood, but I was already fully consumed in it where there was no stopping me and my mind was already made. And they put me in sports, and I did baseball my whole life, but it didn't stop me from what I wanted. And as I got older, I ended up catching my first case at 18 years old, right after I turned 17. Right after I turned 18, I caught my first term, and I caught a shooting case, broad daylight. I bailed out on that, and my co-defendant that was with me, I ended up finding paperwork and finding out that he was the one that rolled over on us. I ended up catching an attempted murder stabbing on him, and hit the county jail. Now, we'll double back on all of that, on the details of that case, on both those cases, and any work that I may have put in back then. But the real story that I want to get to is what happened at the cemetery and what happened to my family and how this all ties in and relates to me. Now, all right, so yeah, we're going to double back on all the details of gang banging and how the logistics of my case of the shooting and the stabbing and all that. But what I really want to get to is what happened at the cemetery and how it all relates and ties into me, and just really want to put it on blast and the individuals that were a part of it. So I go to the county jail. I'm in the county jail for a couple of years, and I'm going full blast trying to make a name for myself. I ended up taking 10 years and 2 strikes, and I hit the pen. soon as I get to prison, I start off on a level 3, and I started off my term. My second day, already putting in work. Second day in reception, I was already putting in work and already on my first holiday. And like I said, we'll get back to all that. And so when I hit the main line, I started getting involved and learning how the politics work. And there was an opportunity that rose for me to get my foot in the door with politics. And I did. And it probably is one of the worst mistakes of my life, but it is what it is. And yeah, I just got to live with it. But I got involved in politics, started working under a senor and making money, making him money, and thinking that lifestyle was cool. So now, fast forwarding, I got 8 months to the pad. I'm about to go home after all this time. Now, I think it was like March 27, 2018. Yeah, it was March 27, 2018, and I go home January 8, 2019. So I had like 8-9 months to the pad, and after all this time I've been doing, after all this work I've been doing, all this work I've been putting in, they asked me to go on a holiday, 9 months to the pad. Now, all the time that I've been down, I never once denied a holiday, and if anything, I was always the one that was raising my hand and participating and wanting to do the holiday. But 9 months to the pad, I wasn't having it. I got kids at home expecting me to be a father, and a wife at home expecting me to be a husband, and it's time for me to go home, and I'm not going to do this holiday. So this is my first time. I refused it, and me knowing the consequences of refusing a holiday, there is no refusing holiday where I was. And the knives turned on me. The tables turned, and I became the victim from turning down that holiday. And now I had something coming. Anyways, I'll get back into detail with that too, but I made my situation worse, and I ended up blasting one of the meseros. I ended up blasting Stopper from Santana Fish Street, and I ended up locking it up. Knowing the consequences, knowing that I was going to die on that yard. And I thought that going home to my family was more important. So it hurt me to lock it up and cross over, but you know what? My family comes first, my kids come first, and I put all that to the side, and I did what I did. I made my decision, and I crossed over. Now, I spent 8 months in SNY, and I went home. Got about 8-7 months in SNY, and I went home. Now, when I went home, the senor called my neighborhood and was enforcing that they take me out. Now, at the time, there's already a rule going on amongst all the neighborhoods and all the barrios in the IE, in the Riverside County, that it's called a ceasefire. Any neighborhoods that are going at it with each other if you get caught going at it with each other, then you're going to get greenlit. If you get caught going at it with another neighborhood, you're going to get greenlit. So what they wanted was, if they want you to kill any PCs from the hood, and everybody from my neighborhood had something coming that locked it up, including me and any neighborhoods in the Riverside County. And I had a bigger target on my back due to the fact of what I did when I left prison by hitting a settle and leaving off on bad terms with my senor. Now, while I'm out there, my neighborhood caught me slipping a couple times, leaving the gas station, shot at me a couple times. Now, after the third time and then shooting at me after leaving the gas station, well, it caught me slipping leaving a liquor store, it caught me slipping leaving a gas station, but one specific time I had my kids in the back seat, I was pumping gas, got back in my car, one of my own homies seen me leaving the gas station, followed me car to car, and shot at me with my kids in the back of the car. Now, they had no idea that my kids were in the back of the car, but that was my last straw. That's all it was going to take. So I started trying to eliminate the problem, and I started going to war with my own neighborhood. I started gunning it out in my own neighborhood. Now, I just started picking at the hornet's nest, and I made, I guess, matters worse, or the situation worse for myself. But I don't know how worse it could have gotten. They were already shooting at me, and but I did notice. It did get worse. It did get worse. So I ended up catching the case on these little youngsters that I thought were prospecting from my hood, and I caught an assault with a firearm, 211, and carjacking on these little youngsters, and I'm back in the county jail. Now, as soon as I hit the county jail, my family is at our local bank cemetery, visiting my little cousin's grave. My little cousin was shot and killed by her old man like a few years before this incident. So for her birthday, every year they show up at the cemetery and they eat with her, release balloons, and spend time with her over her grave, set up an easy up, order pizza, and that's what they were doing just like the last couple of years, just having a family time. My mom was there, my aunt was there, which is my mom's sister, my uncle was there, my two little sisters were there, my wife was there, pregnant with my baby boy, with my two children. My sister's two children were there, all under the age of 8 years old, 8, 7, 6, 2 years old. And my aunt's kids were there, and two youngsters from my neighborhood were already visiting another grave, a couple grave sites down. They had been there all day drinking. As soon as they seen my family pulled up, they noticed it was my family. Them being drunk, ignorant, and disrespectful with no respect, they walked up to my family and started talking shit about me, started talking shit about where I was, where I'm at, what they're going to do to me. And my sisters walked up to them and asked them to please leave. And William Nesio ended up pulling a gun out. He pistol whipped my sister, split her head open, knocked her out cold. Pistol whipped my other sister, split her head open, knocked her out cold. And my mom, my aunt, and my uncle run up to stop them, and he shoots my mom in the head, point blank range. He shoots my aunt in the head and my uncle in the head repeatedly. Now the only people alive now is my wife and my kids and my nephews and my aunt's kids. And my wife grabs all the kids, shields them with her back, and she's on the phone with 911. And he walks over and he puts the gun in her face, puts the gun in my kid's face and tells her to get off the phone with 911. Now, they ended up, my wife said that he had this look in his eyes that he was going to keep killing, that he wanted to keep killing everybody, and she thought that she would.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
She thought that the kids were going to die.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
She thought that he was going to finish killing everybody. Now I have what I have coming due to the fact of the repercussions of me getting involved with politics and getting involved with lifestyle, but my family had nothing to do with that. My family did not deserve that. My mom did not deserve that. My aunt, my sisters, none of them deserve that. And the number one rule that has been established from the Hammond back in the days was you don't involve women and children with anything. You don't kill innocent women. You don't kill innocent women in front of children. You don't kill anybody in front of children, any of that. What they did is wrong, completely wrong.